Welcome to Anonymous Tarot. I'm Kleo, mythologist and ceremonial practitioner. Today, we're exploring the Eight of Swords. Let's draw the card and see what symbolism we're working with.
I've got the Eight of Swords. It's a card of feeling trapped, limited, or restricted in some way. The image shows a figure with its hands bound behind its back, unable to move or escape.
The Eight of Swords can also represent a state of mind, where we feel restricted by our own thoughts, emotions, or fears. Ancient cultures often used this symbolism to represent the power of the subconscious and how it can hold us back.
I see it as a call to question our own perceptions and the stories we tell ourselves. When we feel trapped, it's often because we're not allowing ourselves to see the world in a new way or to confront the parts of ourselves that we'd rather ignore.
That's a great point. The Eight of Swords can also suggest that we're feeling limited by external circumstances, such as relationships or societal expectations. But it's also a reminder that we have the power to break free, even if it feels like we're stuck.
I think that's where the power of ritual and ceremony comes in. By acknowledging and working with our own feelings of limitation, we can begin to break free from the patterns that hold us back. It's a matter of acknowledging the parts of ourselves that feel trapped and finding a way to release them.
In many ancient cultures, particularly in Egypt and Greece, the Eight of Swords is linked to the myth of the sirens. These half-woman, half-bird creatures lured sailors to their doom with enchanting songs, trapping them in a state of suspended animation. This imagery speaks to the idea of being trapped by one's own thoughts and emotions, unable to move forward.
I love how this card also resonates with the myth of Tantalus, who was punished by the gods for his hubris. He was placed in a tree with a fruit just out of reach, symbolizing the futility of grasping for something that's always just beyond our grasp.
The sirens, in particular, embody the idea of being bound by our own desires and fears. They use their beauty and allure to ensnare their victims, rather than actively seeking to harm them. This speaks to the idea that our own mental prisons can be more potent than any external force.
The symbolism of the Eight of Swords reminds me of the concept of the labyrinth from ancient Greek mythology. The hero, often depicted as Odysseus, must navigate the twists and turns of their own mind to find their way out. It's a powerful metaphor for the journey of self-discovery and the need to confront our own inner demons.
In many shamanic traditions, the Eight of Swords is associated with the concept of the dream time. This is a realm where the boundaries between reality and the subconscious are blurred, and the individual must navigate the symbolism of their own dreams to find their way back to the waking world.
I think it's fascinating how the Eight of Swords can be seen as a representation of the collective unconscious, as proposed by Carl Jung. The swords that bind us can be thought of as the shadow, those repressed aspects of ourselves that we dare not confront.
In the dream state, the Eight of Swords can represent a sense of disorientation and disconnection from our inner selves. We may feel trapped by our own thoughts, emotions, or circumstances, unable to break free from the constraints of our own mind.
I see this card as a manifestation of the fragmented self, where we feel like we are stuck in multiple places at once. It's like being lost in a labyrinth of our own making, where every path we take leads us back to the same dead end.
This card often relates to feelings of isolation and disconnection from others, as if we're physically or emotionally trapped. However, in the dream state, this can also be a call to look within and explore the depths of our own psyche.
I think the dream state allows us to tap into the subconscious mind, where the true nature of our fears and desires reside. The Eight of Swords can be seen as a symbol of the parts of ourselves we've suppressed or hidden, waiting to be confronted and integrated.
In this sense, the Eight of Swords can be a powerful catalyst for personal growth and transformation. By confronting our own limitations and constraints, we can begin to break free from the patterns that hold us back and unlock our true potential.
But what about the fear of being trapped, of losing ourselves in the process of breaking free? How can we reconcile the need for liberation with the risk of losing our sense of self.
In the Eight of Swords, we see a figure trapped, limited by their own perceptions and self-imposed restrictions. This card often represents feelings of being stuck, of being unable to move forward or escape the circumstances of our lives.
I think this card also speaks to the way we can be our own worst prison. We can create our own cages out of our fears, our doubts, and our limitations. And once we are trapped in those cages, it can be hard to find the strength to escape.
This is a very empowering message, I think, because when we recognize that we are the ones holding ourselves back, we have the power to break free. We can choose to let go of our self-imposed restrictions and step out of the Eight of Swords.
But it's not always easy to see that, is it? I mean, when we are in the midst of feeling trapped, it can be hard to distinguish between the external circumstances and our own internal prison. It's a very subtle distinction, but a crucial one.
Exactly. And I think that's why this card is so important. It's a reminder that we always have a choice, no matter how difficult things may seem. We can choose to see ourselves in a different way, to recognize our own power and agency.
And that choice is always the most powerful one, because it's the one that allows us to transcend our limitations and become something more.
The Eight of Swords represents a moment of feeling trapped, limited, or restricted in some way. We're often caught between our inner and outer worlds, unable to fully express ourselves or access our inner resources.
I think this card can also be seen as a call to recognize the self-imposed limitations we place on ourselves. We might be trapped in our own minds, afraid to take the leap or explore the unknown.
That's a great point, Billie. The Eight of Swords often speaks to the tension between our desire for safety and security and our need for freedom and expansion.
I'm reminded of the myth of Orpheus, who was trapped in the underworld and had to navigate the darkness to reach his beloved Eurydice. The Eight of Swords can be seen as a reflection of that journey, where we are forced to confront our deepest fears and desires.
That's a powerful analogy, Billie. The Eight of Swords can also represent the inner critic that holds us back from pursuing our passions or making meaningful connections with others.
Exactly. I think this card is a call to acknowledge the parts of ourselves that are holding us back and to develop the courage to release those limitations and tap into our full potential.
The Eight of Swords can feel like a prison, a feeling of being trapped and unable to move forward. This card often represents feeling limited, restricted, or constrained in some way.
But what if the bars of the prison are also the walls that protect us? What if the sense of being trapped is actually a manifestation of our own need for security and safety?
I think it's also possible that the Eight of Swords can represent a sense of being overwhelmed by our own thoughts and emotions. We may feel like we're stuck in our own minds, unable to quiet the inner critic or break free from our own fears.
That's a really interesting point, Kleo. I think the Eight of Swords can also be seen as a call to re-examine our relationship with our own inner world. Are we using our thoughts and emotions as a form of self-protection, or are we using them to block out the world around us?
I love that idea, Billie. And I think it's also worth noting that the Eight of Swords can represent a sense of being disconnected from our own bodies and emotions. We may feel like we're floating above our physical experience, rather than being fully present and engaged.
That's a beautiful observation, Kleo. The Eight of Swords can definitely be a reminder to ground ourselves and connect with our physical selves. By doing so, we may find that we have more freedom and mobility than we initially thought.
The cards have spoken.
We'll see you at the next draw.